with another edition of the School of Knowledge. This is through the Yehudah Project, the Nation of Yehudah. We're glad that you decided to share your Sabbath class with us or your Sabbath with us today. We're going to cover a topic that's very interesting. I'm sure you'll hear a lot of feedback, and we'd like to hear what you have to say as well. And if you would like to comment on any of our classes, you can just email us at the YehudahProject@gmail.com. But however, we thank you so much for joining us today. I am going to open up my screen so you guys can see the screen itself, and then you let me know when you can see it, and then we will go from there. One moment. All right. Can you see the screen?
It's blank.
Yes, no? It's white.
Blank?
No.
Yeah.
It's blank.
It's blank.
Okay.
So far.
What's blank? Let me see what we got here. Oh, it's acting up. That's what it is. I'm sorry. My fault. My fault. All right, here we go. All right, now can you see the screen? Yes. Yes. Wonderful. Okay, the children of Israel, the power of Yah. I found something today that was so interesting. And I hope that I have some scholars on here and some researchers and historians on here because I have a question once we go through this, and I would like to have some feedback. So this is called the children of Israel, the power of Yah. All right, let's go to the scriptures. The 7th day. Like I said, I was putting this together, and I was actually working on the high holy days, and I was putting scripture together to prove 7 days, and we all know that. So I left this in here because of the Sabbath day that we're on today. So we're going to go to Genesis chapter 2, and we're going to verse 1, and it says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them." Verse 2, "And on the 7th day, Yah ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And Yah blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he rested from all his work which Yah created and made." All right, so we all know that right now we're sitting on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath day, which the Most High has blessed, that we are to be able to rest on this day, and this is what the Sabbath is all about. It is a day of rest. Any questions to that? Because there's a lot of teaching that is going around with some of the people in Israel that the Sabbath is on a Tuesday or the Sabbath is on a Wednesday. The Most High deals with day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7. Now, we know that they have been given pagan names, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We know all of those were given. Those were pagan names that were given to the days of the week. But knowing that, we know that God didn't use names of the week. He used numbers. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does everyone agree?
I agree. This is Diana. Does the Sabbath start on Friday sundown to Saturday sundown?
That's how I observe mine. I observe it from sundown to sundown. Some people observe it from sun up to sundown, which means that there are some people that start the Sabbath when the sun is coming up on Saturday and then when the sun goes down. So it's from sun up to sundown. There are a lot of people that do that. Again, those are the issues that we're going to have to discuss with Yah when we get to see Yah.
Okay, so there's no set way. It's not considered improper if you observe it from sun up to sundown.
No, it's not. And if you decide to do it from sun up to sundown, you can do it that way too. And a lot of people do it. They leave their Friday night free to do other things. And I've heard different teachings in different ways, and I'll elaborate that on that at another time. But I've heard different Israelite teachers teach it a certain way that you can start it from sun up to sundown, but I've always kept it from sundown to sundown. Yeah. especially, people that have husbands that are not in this thing, they usually keep that Friday night free for them to spend time with their husbands and stuff. I don't, it's up to the individual. But I've always been taught that it was from sundown to sundown.
I agree.
All right.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, here we go. All right, we're going to deal with Exodus chapter 31. We're going to start at verse 12. It says, "And the Most High spake unto Moshe, saying," I went back too far. "Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Most High that doeth sanctify you." Hold on, sorry about that. "Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Most High. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant." And the word perpetual meaning continuing forever, happening all the time. That's what that means. Except verse 17. He said, "It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. In the 6 days the Most High made the heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moshe, when he had made an end of communion with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of Yah." All right, now, any questions to that? So that, anybody have any questions?
No questions, just like what I'm hearing.
All right, so we know that this is a perpetual covenant between us and Yah, between the children of Israel and the Most High, that we keep the Sabbath. This is something that we have to do. This is something that he asked us to do. Okay, something that's necessary for us to be able to do, to rest. All right, here we go. Exodus chapter 23. We're going to start at verse 10. It says, "In 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruit thereof. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat." This was the welfare system that the Most High set up for the children of Israel. We're in our own land. He said for 6 years you can reap, you can sow, you can reap, you can plant, you can do all those things. But the 7th year, you have got to let the land rest. Why? So that the poor of the people may eat. And what they leave, listen to what he said, the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyards and with thy olive yards. Now let me go over something with the back up the Sabbath. Let me say this. Or let me ask this question. In this captivity where we are today, if someone doesn't keep the Sabbath, are we allowed to put them to death?
No.
No.
Why? Why not?
Because of the contrary, we'll be put to death.
I didn't hear somebody. There's too many people talking. I can't hear one person. What is it now?
You've been cast off.
Say again?
You've been cast off by the Most High. Well, you can't use all that doesn't apply.
Well, murder is a crime in this society.
Right, exactly, because we're not in our own land.
We're not a nation.
We can't execute. We're a nation. We're just not in our own land.
Right, we're not a nation.
And we're under a curse.
And we're still under a curse. But the biggest thing is we're not in our land. These laws were given to us to execute when we were in our own land, under our own government, running our people as a kingdom.
Correct.
And I have to say that because some people are religious fanatics. And some people be like, oh, my God, we're going to be put to death. Because no, no, and no. The Most High knows we're in captivity. He knows the situation that we're in. And he knows that we can do this to the best of our ability as best we can. So I want to make sure I say that because you say, well, now, why do you have to say that? Everybody knows that. No, they don't. They really don't. And let me tell you why. Because I was watching one of those police shows where this man was a Hebrew Israelite and he murdered, let me say this again, he murdered his girlfriend's son because he said the son was exhibiting tendencies of homosexuality. And I think this little boy was 7 years old.
Wow. That's sad.
So even though we teach this stuff, we have to go all the way down to the bare nothings to let you know no one has the right to play Yah, and no, you cannot take someone's life because of what you read, because Yah has given this to us at a specific time, and he is the one that does the ruling and the judging when we get into our own land. And I couldn't believe, and there's a lot of them out there that's running around in Israel like that. It's a whole lot of them with mental illness, and they're setting up these, oh, my goodness, so I'm not even going to go off into that bunny trail, but nevertheless, you have to watch what you say, and you have to be specific in the things that you say so that people don't get crazy because there's a lot of crazies out there. It is.
I'm glad you're sharing the truth because that's the truth.
And it made me feel so bad because you know what it looked bad on? The Israelites.
Uh-huh.
So when they went to court, they were like, well, what gave you the right to play God? Well, I'm an Israelite. And the scriptures say, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, you're just making us look like we're barbarians.
It's by design.
Yes.
It's by design.
I have to go through this in detail to be able to the smallest letter to let people know, no, you don't have a right to hurt anyone else. No, you don't have a right to judge anyone else. You have to worry about you and let everybody else worry about them. He murdered the baby. He was 7 years old. He's showing tendencies of homosexuality. You know, and we can just go there. Israel has a bad habit of going there, and it's like, really? Stop. You know, and I hate to go here, but they can tell you how the moon cycle and what the sun's doing and how the stars are dancing around in the hemisphere and all that kind of stuff. But you ask them to go into some detail about the scriptures, and they can't do it.
No.
But anyway, I just want to make sure I covered that because I don't want some people taking this literally and being afraid to, oh, I'm going to die because I didn't know. No. Okay, here we go. He said, and when they leave, and what they leave, the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy olive yard. He said, 6 days thou shalt do thy work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest, that thy ox, that means the animal, thy ass may rest. All the animals had to rest. And the son of thy handmaid, as the stranger may be refreshed. So the Most High didn't just want you to rest. He wanted everybody to rest. He was like, I'm going to make sure that everybody gets a chance to rest because that's what it is. It's supposed to be a day of rest. Now, and I know you know Brother Leonard. I don't want you to say nothing. I know Brother Adoni, I know, and I know Brother Kappa knows, and a few other people. Why did we go into captivity in the Babylonian captivity?
We sinned against Yah. We didn't keep his commandments, statutes, and ordinances.
That's too vague. I need more. Why did we have to do the 70 years in Babylon?
Because 1 year for every year that they didn't let the land rest.
Thank you. They were supposed to let the land rest. We just read it just a few minutes ago. I'm going to go back again. I'm going to go all the way back so you can, he says, moreover. Let me get back up here. My computer wants to act ugly, but we're going to get there. Hold on. All right, here we go. I just read it to you. Exodus chapter 23, verse 10. And 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruit thereof. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest, and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat. Watch. And what they leave, the beasts of the field shall eat. And in like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and thy olive yard. 6 days thou shalt do thy work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest, and thy ox and thy ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may rest and be refreshed. So we went into captivity because they didn't obey the law to let the land rest. Did anybody not know that? And it's okay to say you didn't know it, because I didn't know it for a long time. I didn't.
I didn't.
I didn't know it.
I didn't. No.
Know it now.
They went into captivity into Babylon because they disobeyed the law that God gave to let the land rest. All the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Most High, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And the Most High Elohim of their fathers sent to them by his messenger, I think this is in Jeremiah, rising up at bedtime and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. Hold on one moment. And they mocked the messenger of Yah and despised his word and missed. No more remedy. We in the book of Jeremiah. I think it's the 25th chapter of Jeremiah. Verse 17. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with their swords in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon the young man or maiden, old man or him that stooped for aid. He gave them unto his hand. And all the vessels of the house of Yah, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Most High, and the treasures of the king and of his princes, all these he brought to Jerusalem, and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire, and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where there was no servants to him and his sons until the reign of the king of Persia. Any questions at all?
Yeah, that's what the 70 weeks are about. In Daniel 9.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. So for 70 years, they had to hang in there because they had to let the land rest. The Most High was like, I'm going to take you off the land because you didn't do what I told you to do. And he said, you angered me to the point where there was no remedy. I had no other choice but to do what I had to do. Hold on a minute, you guys. Go ahead. I'm still talking. Any questions?
Well, so that's so many people say. You hear so many people say that they have a bad understanding of who the Most High is and what He's capable of doing. They say He can do anything He wants. Well, what you just read.
No, not at all.
It's the contract.
What do you mean it's a contract?
He got a contract with us. He'll do certain things. If we do certain things, he's not going to break his promise. We shouldn't break ours.
That's true. The people wouldn't want to come up short.
I don't know about that. I mean, I guess you could say that, sis. I guess you could say that.
Yeah, covenant contract.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. Covenant. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Covenant. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Covenant.
Yeah, covenant.
He was bound to the land. He was bound to the land before he bound the man. And then he took the man from the land. So what you're dealing with is he had a connection and a covenant with the land before he even dealt with man.
That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. But at the same time, the land and the people went together.
That's correct.
That's where he got them from, the land. He took the man from the land.
And so when he gave us the land, we were the people of the land, then the Most High had to do something because we were being disobedient.
Right.
That's correct.
And that's how we ended up in the situation that we were in today. In 70 AD is because we were disobedient and the Most High had to judge us because we wouldn't do what we were supposed to do concerning the land. And that put us in the situation that we are in today. Because we were also disobedient again in what he said. And a lot of people don't realize that this whole 70 years captivity was as a result of the fact that the people did not obey what he told them to do. Any questions? Comment?
Just further comment. We have to obey what the Almighty tells us to do. The consequences are too high, and the consequences are also eternal. So we have to make it right and just be focusing on what he tells us to do and follow it without question.
Yeah, definitely. Because of the things that's going on, because of the things that we have had to endure and to be put out of our land, and to be recompensed the way we have, those are the things that's happening.
Shalom, this is Adonia. If I might add something to what the brother said, is a lot of our brothers and sisters don't want to be governed by the Creator. You understand? And go blindly and be led blindly without knowing the Creator like they think that they should. You understand? Because see, what happens is a lot of our brothers say that they don't want to be. That it's not something that they feel that they that's the type of government we're under already. You understand? We got to do what they say. You understand? But we got to understand that when when the Almighty has put down these laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances, you understand, it was for our good. You understand? The laws that we abide by today, you understand, is not for our good. You understand? So there's a vast difference between knowing the Almighty and abiding by His laws. You understand, without any question as to what we do today. If I
all of that's very true. And a lot of people don't realize, Brother Doniel, that is the reason why they went into that captivity. And the Most High does not play when he says, you're going to go into captivity, and that's exactly what he means. And it is really unfortunate, you know what I'm saying, that people don't understand who we're dealing with. And I haven't even begun to touch the surface yet when it comes to the things that because he said, you're going into captivity because we didn't let the land rest. And as a result of that, they went into captivity. I just wanted to make sure that I got that scripture for you guys, and we're going to start here. This is 2 Chronicles 36, and this is 14 through 21. Sister Samaya, if you want to change that, you can do that in the chat, because we haven't made it to Jeremiah yet. I was just trying to figure out where we were. It's 2 Chronicles 36.
Jeremiah, maybe it was a continuation.
It is. That's what I was going to say. 2 Chronicles is like the newspaper, so it's the same thing that you're going to read in the book of Jeremiah.
Oh, that was 2 Chronicles. Oh, my God.
Yes, 2 Chronicles. Okay, here we go. So let me do this. He says, moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Most High, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And the Most High Elohim of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up at their time and sending, because he had no compassion on his people or on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of Yah and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of the Most High rose against his people till there was no remedy. He said, you're leaving me no other choice. I don't have no other choice. I've sent people by to tell you. I've sent messengers by. I've sent prophets by. You laughed at them. You didn't believe it was real. Now I got to do what I have to do because my hands is tied. When he said there was no remedy, the Most High said he tied my hands. Watch. He said, therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon the young man or the maiden, old man or him that stooped to age. He gave them all into his hand. And all the vessels of the house of Yah, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Most High, and the treasures of the king and of his princes, and all these he brought to Babylon. And they burnt the house of Yah, and brake down the walls of Jerusalem, and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire, and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof. And them that had escaped from the sword came of Persia. And you all say this all the time, especially Brother Kevin and Brother Leonard. They said nothing happened until Persia came on. It did they 70 years, but nothing happened until Persia. This is what the Most High said in advance. He said he carried them, and them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia.
Wow. You just said something interesting that a lot of times we overlook, and I hear a lot of Israelites, teach on it because they think, like you mentioned earlier, the guy who murdered the 7-year-old, all these Israelites think that they're going to be doing something. We're going to be doing this. Well, you just read that it was the leadership that Nebuchadnezzar came and got in Jerusalem. It was the Levites. It was the king. It was the royalty, right? Why did he come and take them away captive? Because it was their responsibility to uphold the law.
Yes, it was.
And so when a man
sinned, example.
Right, or a woman sinned, they were supposed to take them to the high priest, and the high priest was supposed to execute the judgment. And so when you see what's going on, it wasn't necessarily the people that were sinning; it was the leadership that was sinning against Yah. They knew better. And so when Jeremiah and when some of the other prophets went, they went to the leadership and said, listen, y'all need to get yourselves together because something's coming. Mm-hmm. And see, that's the missing link to where I think a lot of people don't realize it wasn't the common folks that sent us into captivity. It was the leadership.
You know what? I think that's a good point, but they all messed up. All of them was doing wicked. I mean, I can't say all of them.
Right. They were doing wicked.
It's the responsibility of the leaders, yep.
Right. It was the leaders who didn't say, okay, if a common person was doing something wrong, they were supposed to execute judgment, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. They followed suit.
And he do it. Watch what he said. He said, to fulfill the words of the Most High by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbath. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath to do what? To fulfill 70 years. What's 70 years? 70. 70 years. And so the Most High said, you owe me 70 because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and I'm taking my 70. And as a result of what you owe me, I'm putting you off the land, and I'm gonna let them burn it all the way down to the ground, and you're gonna go into captivity because you were disobedient. He didn't care nothing about the gold. He didn't care nothing about the silver. He didn't care nothing about the kingship. He sent them all off the land because they were disobedient to the land.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just.
This is who we dealing with. That's why I say you don't want to fall into the hands of the Almighty God. You just don't want to be on his bad side. Not like that. He stripped them of everything. So they didn't care what kind of job they had, Sister Sanaya, where they lived, what their social status was, none of that. Whether they were pillars in the community or even if they even kept it. Even if there was a few of them that kept it, they all went into captivity.
Everybody out.
So that the land could rest. And a lot of people didn't know this. There's a whole lot of people that did not know that this was the reason for the captivity of Babylon.
I didn't know that.
That changed the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I ain't even started for the link. Shoot. I was like, wow. And that's why we go through this, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we go through this Bible, because we have to understand the God we serve. He do not play. He is the God of the people and of the land.
Yep. I've been saying that for a long time. It was our leaders that led the rest of the people astray, and all the kings and all the priests and all the leaders, you know, there were men.
Uh-oh. Since you're not the first one to say that, you're not the first one to say that. You're not.
Okay.
You're not. That those were the men of Israel that were supposed to do the do. Because they were the leaders of Israel. And they were supposed to be in charge. And we ain't had no queens. We had kings. And they were dealing with them.
That's all he ever dealt with. From the beginning all the way to the end, he's going to be dealing with men. I mean,
now, watch it now.
That's time light on something.
Watch it. You get ready to start a fight, because that ain't true. But we ain't going to go there, Brother Leonard. You know you're trying to pick a fight, and we ain't having that.
No. I'm trying to get the order.
It ain't no order. He dealt with more than just men. He dealt with women, too.
What?
They weren't in the kingship when it per se running the nations, no. And they were not a part of the priesthood running the spiritual side, no. I agree with you. And they put us in a pickle, y'all. The men got us in a pickle. Because they were disobedient. But the whole nation was disobedient.
Well, the high priest can give sacrifice for the people, but when the priests sin, who's supposed to give sacrifice for them? You know, so the men got to really hold themselves in high regard and keep their mind set on Yah instead of the worldly things.
The high priest sacrificed for himself and for everybody else.
It was important for them to maintain their position and the status that Yah had given them, so that way they could correct the people. It's important that we do have competent leadership over our nation that's going to teach just like the teaching we're getting today, because it's important for the truth to be spread and for each person here to the unadulterated word.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes, sir. All right, now check this out. Here we go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And just to add one other thing, that's not to cut you off, is Yah will use every willing vessel to spread his message, men and women. So we're in this together.
Especially in the last days.
Yeah.
In the last days, now he said sons and daughters.
That's right. We have to get it right. We have to get it right together.
This time. Now check this out.
Right.
Here we go. Watch. Jeremiah chapter 25. That parallels 2 Chronicles 36. Here we go. Jeremiah 25, verse 1. It says, the word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah, or Yehudah, in the first year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yehudah, that was the first year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, the which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Yehudah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, from the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Yehudah, even unto this day, this is the 23rd year, the word of the Most High hath come unto me, and I have spoken unto you rising early. Remember, he said, my prophets rise up early in the morning and speaking, but ye have not hearkened. And the Most High hath sent unto you all his servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened nor inclined your ear to hear. They say, turn you again now every one from his evil way and from the evil of your doing, and dwell in the land that the Most High has given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever. And go not after his other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hand, and I will do you no hurt. Now this is a warning that's coming out of a man's mouth from the Most High. He said, now if you don't provoke me, I ain't going to hurt you. But now if you provoke me, watch what he say. Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Most High, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt. He said, you know, get tore up now. I mean, you did this to yourself. Therefore, thus saith the Most High of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Most High, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land. This is when he is manipulating the Gentile nations to come up against Israel, to take Israel out because they were disobedient. So the same people that he loves, he uses the other nations to come up against them to teach them a lesson.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
Who is the Northern Kingdom?
Which one are you talking about? You talking about this here? Or are you talking about the children of Israel?
Children of Israel, there's the Northern and the Southern Kingdom.
I'm going to get into that. I'm on my way there. Hold on. Just hold that thought. And against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and a hissing, and a perpetual desolation. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, and the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, and the sound of millstone, and the light of the candle. And the whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. And it shall come to pass, watch what he says, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord. Why are the nations being punished? Disobedience.
That's what they were.
Let me read it again. And it shall come to pass, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Most High. Why is Babylon being punished?
You got to return the Israelites back to the land. That's what I said about Haggai chapter 2. Everybody thinks that's in the future, but he said, I shall punish the nation. And he did that in order to bring Israel back into existence again and to set them back in order where they belong.
So you think that Babylon is being punished? That's not making sense. Let me read it again.
I think because they touched the Israelites.
Oh, wait a minute. You hold that thought, sis. And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Most High. Why is he punishing them after the captivity?
7 years past.
Everybody that touches Israelites.
Well, he
7 years
punished the
past.
king.
They enslaved us. And, because
hold on 1 second. There's something that we're missing.
But they enslaved us.
He said he would punish the king of Babylon, right?
Right.
And the nation. What happened after 70 years of captivity? What happened to Babylon?
The king was murdered.
And then what happened after that?
But the Persians came in.
The Persians came in. There you go.
That's it.
So that's the punishment.
I know what happened. I said, why?
Because
it's the same reason why he punished Egypt. There was a ransom.
I would say the same reason that Babylon is going to be punished today because of how they treated his people. God didn't know. I mean, they mistreated his people, and the way that they mistreated them was atrocious. And so even today, that's why God is going to judge these nations, because of the way that they mistreated his people.
They were a ransom.
That's
Just
it.
like Egypt was a ransom. That's what he created them for. That's why he leaves remnants, to chastise Israel. That's what he told David.
So because of the treatment of his people, now let me get this straight, because I want to set the scene, because I don't want to read anything into it, because I know this is going to be a bombshell when it hits YouTube. But we got all kinds of nations listening to us. We got the CIA listening to us, the FBI, we got the NSA listening, everybody listening.
They need to hear the truth too.
Because of the treatment. Wait a minute. So we disobeyed him, and that's a no-brainer. We disobeyed him. Does everybody agree?
That's correct. There's no debate in that. That's correct.
And there's no debate. We disobeyed him. He warned us. Did he not send a prophet to warn us?
Yes, he warned us.
Right.
And then after the warning, he sent a nation after us and a king after us to subdue us and to take us into captivity because of our own disobedience. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's 100% correct.
So now after we have completed I'm going somewhere with this. I hope y'all know where I'm going. I'm going somewhere with this. I was like, wow. After they completed the 70 years, because Brother Leonard and Brother Captain say it all the time, they didn't leave right away. They were there. Oh, my goodness. After they completed the 70 years and the sentence was completed, the punishment for that nation, the people that mistreated us, they got punished immediately, didn't they?
Right.
Right.
Just like Egypt.
Because hold on. Because this had to be, now I know y'all know the story, but just in case you don't, this had to be the night that Belshazzar, or Belshazzar, whatever his name, Nebuchadnezzar's grandson was having this party. Now, I know you know the story. And
that's right.
He got tired of drinking out of the clay cups and told him to go get me the stuff from the temple and bring them gold cups in here because we want to drink out of them gold cups. And he brought that stuff in to the party, and when they lifted up the cup, the finger came out of nowhere and wrote on the wall. Remember?
Yeah. That's it.
And writing on the wall.
That's it.
That was the last night for Yah to execute punishment over the Babylonian kingdom, because that night the king of Babylon was murdered.
That's right.
And then the very next morning, they woke up under a whole new government.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And so that goes back to the statement I made earlier, is that he uses these nations as ransom to do what they got to do, but then he's going to punish them because they're wicked anyway.
So they went too far.
Yes. Right. They went overboard.
With what they did to us.
They went overboard.
So when you line that up, you just lined it up, which was nice. So that means we go to Daniel 26, 9 and 26. If you keep in the same format and same understanding, it says, and after 62 weeks, that's the 70 years, same 70 years, shall the Messiah. Huh? So they put the Messiah right there after 70 years.
No, hold on, no. We can't go there yet. Just stay out of there. Stay out of there, Brother Leonard. I gotta go somewhere. Stay out of there. Okay, here we go. Don't do that. You make me want to confuse me. So listen. So this is what they did. The Most High spoke it. He said, I'm gonna do them. And the one night the kingdom was gone. It was over with. It was no more left. Right?
Yeah.
He said, for their iniquity and the land of the Chaldean, and will make it perpetual desolation. And I will bring upon that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book which Jeremiah has prophesied against all nations. For many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also. There's got to be recompense. And I will recompense them according to their deeds and according to the works of their own hands. All right, so now tell me this. If that is the case, and this scripture right here, he said, for many nations and great kings shall serve themselves with them also. And I will, at future, recompense them according to their deeds and according to the works of their own hands. If that is the practice, how the Most High does it, what is going to happen now?
Can I hazard, ma'am? This is what I see.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
As soon as this 400 years is over, like the day it's over, this place is toast.
I know it's going to burn. It's going to burn. I believe that He will recompense. He promised.
But He said we'll see destruction. So we'll see the destruction, but the question is, I don't know exactly when it began, but we will certainly know when it ends. And that's the parallel that I see. That's what I take away from it.
So if it don't happen, then what?
Well, the thing is we don't know when the 400 years began, because we don't know when the king and the Israelites went in to captivity. If you look at the 36th chapter of Deuteronomy, to me that's key. And I don't know when that king went into captivity. We know when the 20 people were taken and brought off of that ship, and there was slavery before. But the key thing is, it says when the king and Israelites go into captivity. I don't know when that began. So we don't know the beginning.
Here's the missing thing that we gotta consider, right? So we talked about Babylon, the king and the people being punished. We know the Persians came in and took over Babylon. They woke up, and it was the Persians. Did Babylon get destroyed?
Yes, Babylon as a nation was destroyed, yes.
No, I'm talking about the structure, the land, the houses, the possession. Was Babylon destroyed? Or did they just,
No, they weren't.
There was no destruction, right?
No, it wasn't destroyed, man. The Persians Persians came.
And then after the Persians was the Greeks, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So So it's something we got to think about, because I keep hearing people say this place is going down, it's going to be destroyed and fire and all this stuff. Well, that didn't happen. And according to Jeremiah, he was going to destroy Babylon. See, we got to be careful.
He didn't destroy Babylon as a ruling nation. Now, what you're saying is, did he make the land desolate? That's what you're saying.
That's
the
what I'm saying. We know that didn't happen.
Of Babylon and the destruction of the government is two totally different situations.
Correct.
That's correct. When we look at the destroy, you understand, it don't necessarily mean kill off. You understand? It could be, like in the.
That's not how people teach it, though. That's the only thing that I'm referring to.
Well, that's what they're missing. That's what they're missing in that. You understand? Is that it doesn't necessarily mean destroyed utterly. You understand? It means in a lot of instances, it means that, you understand, in our case, you understand, we was destroyed, you understand, because they took away the understanding of our God, and we went with the other gods.
Right.
May I have a clarification? So if I understand what you're saying that it's not necessarily the infrastructure that will be destroyed, but we're talking about leadership. And I'm actually looking at a definition of destroy, which says put an end to the existence of something by damaging or attacking. And then it says...
Oh, you're breaking up.
Hello?
We missed you. We can't hear you.
We just lost you.
It's a destruction per se. But it could be like the end, like you said, from that hand it says, the handwriting on the wall, you've been judged. At that instant, it's like the power left them.
Well, you know what? Let the scripture speak for itself. Let's read it again. Because sometimes we read it, but we don't really read it. Read what it says. It says, and it shall come to pass. Listen up what he said. When 70 years are accomplished, that means when the sentence is over, that I will punish the king of Babylon. Was the king of Babylon punished?
Absolutely.
Yes.
He was murdered.
Ultimately.
And that nation, saith the Most High, was the nation of Babylon punished at that point?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they were. So God didn't defer any of his words. It still happened the way he said it was going to happen. Now, the desolation of the land may not have taken place at that moment, but the Most High kept his word because he punished both the king and the nation because they were no more a nation after that.
The Most High always kept his word.
So that's why you have to understand when he say daughter of Babylon, because the Medes and Persians picked up and started ruling under the Babylonian system. That's why you have to understand when he say daughter of Babylon, he's talking about Medes and Persians. They came in and started ruling of the Persian system, just like the Greek.
Okay. But guess what? Guess what he does? Finish the scripture. He said, I'm going to punish the king of Babylon and the nation for their iniquity and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it a perpetual desolation. So when he says, I'm going to make it a perpetual desolation, that means that eventually it will be that. Continually it will be that. So when you understand what John says about the prophecy for this nation, he says, after the 400 years, then I will judge that nation. So this nation is getting ready to be judged.
That's correct.
Yeah, it is. Sister Aina, I have a couple quick questions in the chat.
Yes, ma'am.
One guest asked about where the scripture about Belshazzar, the handwriting on the wall, can be found. Is that in Daniel?
That's in the book of Daniel.
Daniel.
I'll get it for her. Just tell her to give me one moment, and it's in the book of Daniel. They were having a party, and they had the cup he sent them to get the golden cups and stuff out of, what did you say, Daniel chapter 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent them to get the cups and stuff that they had taken from Jerusalem so that they could drink out of it, and the hand came out of nowhere and wrote on the wall and told them, this is it for you, buddy.
Daniel 5, starting at verse 1.
You too. Basically, oh my God. The sentence that the Most High has prescribed for you is now. And it happened at that moment, too. They called Daniel to read it, and Daniel had to be the one to read it. He was like, oh, my goodness. He said, do you know what this say? They said, and the king pooped on himself. That's in there, too. They said he let loose his loins, which means he pooped on himself.
And his knees was knocking back and forth against each other.
They was knocking back and forth together. You could hear him. He was so scared.
Wow.
So, also, Babylon, Saddam Hussein tried to rebuild Babylon, and he couldn't do it.
No.
So the prophecy was fulfilled. That Babylon would never be inhabited or rebuilt again.
And you know what? And the white evangelicals are saying now that Babylon is being rebuilt again. Gaddafi was putting the stuff back together in the block, and he's building houses. You've seen what happened to him, don't
you? Gaddafi? He's in Libya.
Yeah.
He is no longer with us on this earth. No longer. He was irrespective. You know? So I just want you to understand the process of how Yah does things when he says he's going to do things, that he does keep his word, and he does do what he said he was going to do. And he even told them that even Israel, returning back to the land, whenever I read it to you, would not take place until the kingdom of Persia came on the scene. And that is when Cyrus came on the scene and Nehemiah was able to go back and help Ezra and them do what they needed to do. Because even though Ezra and them went back, and that's a whole other lesson, to build it up, they had so much opposition from the people that were around them that they stopped them from doing what they was trying to do. And Nehemiah came on the scene and was in a position in government and was able to go back and do what he needed to do with the blessing of the king of Persia. So the Most High, and I hear so many people say, well, it didn't happen here like he said. No, it did. It happened just like he said, because he said, until the kingdom of Persia.
Right. Hey, don't forget to mention Zerubbabel.
I ain't going to leave Zerubbabel out either. He was right there doing what he was supposed to do. It was necessary for him to be on the scene, too. But the Most High told him that he was going to punish the king of Babylon and the nation. And it all happened in one night. Them people went to bed under one government and woke up under another one. Mm-hmm.
That's how y'all works. That's how y'all does it.
Powerful stuff. So what we have, the way that we gauge this thing is we're gauging it by 1619. Some people may say, I can't do it that way. That's how we're going to do it.
That's what they said. I'm going by that.
1619, 2019, we're going to celebrate our sentence being over. Because what I did was, what I'm researching now is to go back to the scriptures and find the captivities that Israel went through. And find the scriptures where the Most High put dates and times on them, how long they were going to be in them, and the process by which they came out. Because even though they were in captivity for that time, and the king was murdered and the nation taken over that day, you know what I'm saying, they still had to go through a period before it was all settled and everything was back in the way it was supposed to be. But nevertheless,
that's correct.
He did what he said he was going to do. And if he did it then, my question to you is, does Yah change?
No, Yah stays 100% consistent.
That's right.
When you read about Jeremiah telling them that he's going to bring a nation from the north upon them, well, we witnessed that firsthand in Judah, because Nebuchadnezzar was nobody, and so he had sent these letters out to all the nations telling them to come help them fight against the Assyrian the Syrians, and they said no. Nobody wouldn't listen to him because he didn't have no power. And right there, the prophecy of Jeremiah came to pass because Nebuchadnezzar went down and fought against the Syrians, and the Most High was winning, and they won.
Yeah.
That's when he became powerful, and everybody started fearing him.
Absolutely. But guess what? Even if that's the case, you see what God does in order to make his word come to pass. If he was with Nebuchadnezzar and made sure he won, he put him in position of power so that he could come and take Israel into captivity for those 70 years. And then once it was over with, he died. But guess what? His grandson caught the grunt of the punishment.
Right. Verse 9
Jeremiah told him that. Jeremiah told them that. Serve the king of Babylon and his sons. That's what the scriptures say.
So
they did it.
But look what happened to them. They ended, the Most High's word came to pass, just like it's getting ready to come to pass now.
Right.
Yes, it is.
And so that's what, one of the things that we miss too is verse 9 says, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, my servant.
Yes, absolutely.
Cyrus was a servant. That's Persia.
It's like Paul.
Right. And so that means the Greeks was his servants, and that means the fourth beast is his servant. All these people who think they're in control, they work for him.
Everyone's on Yah's payroll. Everyone works for Yah. Everyone's on his payroll.
They on his payroll, and they're going to do what he says.
That's it.
Because if we're going to play a game, we playing his.
That's right.
Right. Yes, one more question, and then I can hold them. What if there is no king to punish? Would it be the leaders?
Say again?
What if there is no king to punish? Would it be the leaders?
Absolutely. Everything starts at the head and it goes and flows down. Everything. Because they set the trend for the people. They set the laws, they set the trends, they set everything. So yes, they do. But what I want to get you to see is how Yah does when he's punishing Israel. Yes, he will punish you for being disobedient. And it's not going to be an easy punishment. In order for him to move a whole nation of people off the land that they've been living on, men, women, and children, and animals, and cattle, and everything, and do what he did, you had to provoke him to anger. But after that was over with, he dealt with the nation that dealt with you.
That's correct. Almighty gives everybody whoopings that deserves them.
Because they felt like because they had shoes, they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Jeremiah chapter 29. Watch, here we go. Jeremiah 29. First one. It says, now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captive, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. After that, Jeconiah the king, and the queen, and the eunuchs, and the princes of Yehudah, and Jerusalem, and the carpenters, and the smiths were departed from Jerusalem. That's what happened. By the hand of Asa, the son of Shaphnah, and Jeremiah, Gemariah, the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah, king of Yehudah, went unto Babylon, to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, saying, thus saith the Most High of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, unto all that are carried away captive, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses and dwell in them. Plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your son, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city, whether I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray unto the Most High for it. For in the peace thereof ye shall have peace. For thus saith the Most High of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners be in the midst of you, deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams, which ye cause to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, saith the Most High. For thus saith the Most High, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you and causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Most High, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Most High, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations, from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Most High, and I will bring you again into the place where I caused you to be carried away captive. What does that say to you?
Can I answer that?
Please.
So, according to the scriptures, it says that when he comes back, he has to cleanse the land, right?
No, that's not what that says.
No. Not this scripture. I'm just saying the scriptures tell us that he has to come back.
No. I want you to stick with this scripture. What does this scripture say to you?
He's bringing it full circle, returning
carried right back to where you were taken captive from.
He said what now?
It says, the last sentence says, and I will cause them, and I will bring you again into the place where I caused you to be carried away captive.
I just read about 4 scriptures. What does that say? Then you want me to back up?
No.
You're gonna read that.
Okay. I just wanted.
What does it say? What does those scriptures say about once the captivity is over? What does the Most High say to the children of Israel?
He's gonna redeem them.
He's gonna regather.
But what else? Before the gathering,
they're going back to their homeland.
Before that. He'll turn and say
He's going to punish the people who punished them.
That's correct.
Let me go back.
Well, it doesn't say that.
Let me go back. Hold on.
It says,
then you shall call upon me, and you shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you.
Right.
And ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart, and I will be found of you, saith the Most High, and I will turn away your captivity, and will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Most High, and I will bring you again into the place which I caused you to be carried away captive. He's going to gather his people. They're going to cry out to him, and they're going to gather his people and bring them back.
Well, first of all, they don't know who he is. They got to find him. First of all, they don't know who he is. They got to go find him. They got to seek him and find him. He ain't out in the open with his hands raised. He said in the last days, up to that point, you don't know who he is. You lost. And that's what Deuteronomy 28 says. That I sent you to other lands, and there you're going to serve other gods, not him. So what we doing in these last days is searching the scriptures to find him. At this point, we got the wrong God. That's what he's telling us.
So he said that you seek me,
yep,
and you pray unto me, and you call upon me, I will let you find me.
That's it.
He's going to be available. He'll be available.
He's going to call you to find him. Up to that point, he hide from us.
He turned his back. So he's going to allow us to be, he's going to allow us to be able to find, he said this is what he told him in Babylon. This is what he told him in Babylon. This wasn't even for us. This was for Babylon. But again, my question is, does he change?
No. Ain't nothing changed.
No. He don't
Nothing
change.
Nothing has changed.
Whether it's a 70-year captivity or whether it's a 400-year captivity, he said when the captivity is over, when it's all over with.
So that means there's nothing that we have to do.
And if you come and call on me,
Why?
I'll let you find me.
Right.
See?
So now let's think about that for a second. So we're looking at two things. We're looking at, one, calling on him and finding him, and we're looking at a date set for a captivity. So it got to be one or the other. Either we're calling on him for him to come back, or once that date is up, he's coming to get us.
That's not what it says. That's not what it says. Read more into it. That's not what it says. He said after the 70 years have been accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Remember, we serve a creator of order. So each condition has to be met that he has in place, such as the punishment ending. Then it comes our position and our turn to turn our hearts to him, follow his will and follow his way. Then he will reconnect with us, and then we will be restored back to the land.
Wait a second. So is that what happened? Ezra says that when Cyrus came about, right?
We don't have nothing to do. We're not going to, hey, Brother Kevin, we're not getting ready to do that. We ain't going to do no side teaching on the fast today. We stick to the scripture.
We can't say that.
Look, we're going to deal with this particular scripture, and we're going to read this scripture. Let me read it again.
Yeah, but you can't take stuff out of order.
I don't want to, we're not taking that out of order. We're reading it according to the scripture. What God said.
That's it.
Not what Ezra said. What God said. Watch what he said.
God is the one who talked to Ezra.
But he's talking here too. Listen to what he says. He said, "For thus saith the Most High, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you, and cause
nothing we have to do
to return to this place." It's the same chapter that we're in.
Right.
We're not talking about.
He's going to do it.
But watch. He says, "I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Most High, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Most High, and I will turn away your captivity and gather you from all the nations."
Right.
So it's a system that he has set up in a captivity. Once the captivity is over, the only thing that he asked of the children of Israel is to repent, to seek him, to call upon him, and that he would be found of us. And then once they did that with their whole heart, he said, "I will be found of you, and I will turn away your captivity." Now, that is the order.
What's the point of telling them 70 years? So what happens if they didn't do it after 70 years?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. All I can go back to what I read. Now, we keeping it in context in terms that this was Babylon. My thing is, does God change?
No, you don't change. So I want to say something on that because what you reading right there is they know they know the date, they know the 70 years, they know who he is and all that. So that lets you know if you come into the day and you're using that same format, why is it that we don't know the number of years that it is this time? Because you're dealing with a wicked pride.
We know, Brother Manor. We know if you want to know. Everybody don't want to accept the fact that 1619 is in. Everybody don't want to accept the fact that 2019 is it. Nobody wants to accept the fact that this government has laid it out for the people that have been awakened at this point, because guess what? Just like you said, we know who we are, we know who he is, and we know how long we've been in this captivity, for 400 years. So if we do this, is it a possibility, since Yah doesn't change, that it's still the same thing?
Let me chime in on that if y'all don't mind.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, we got to understand that the Almighty said 400 years. If we say that He never changed, and what He says He means, and He means what He say, He didn't say 430. He didn't say 389. See, no other captivity on the face of this earth in the whole grand scheme of things. Nobody, no other nation has done 400 years of captivity. Now, whether we have the figures mixed up, you understand? But when Trump signed the proclamation there, you understand? He signed it because they know who. They have records stating when they took our cardios from that land and brought them over and scattered us among all the nations. And it was, now whether or not it's 400, some people say it's 1575 and all of that stuff. But if it comes up to 400 years, then that's the captivity. And when he said the captivity was over, he was going to judge those folks, and after that he was going to bring us out. Now, and we got a lot of different stories about he's bringing us out now. You understand? This and that and other. I don't think that has that same flavor as the 70 years. After the 70 years, we were able to go back into our land and rebuild our temple. You understand? So it's you understand? See, what we have is we have a lot of different stories. You understand? But what makes sense to me.
What you just said, Brother Donya, is he was going to do it.
That's right. The Almighty said that He was going to bring us out. He didn't say that in 70 AD. He sent them Persians in there in 70 AD. You understand? But in the 400 years, it's the Almighty's going to bring us out. You understand what I'm saying? But after that, after He judged these folks, then He will bring us out of our captivity from the